Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Clayton County Board of Education Millage Rate public hearing. Today is Monday, August 22nd. It's 6:02 p.m. and we are going to start our meeting. At this time, I'm going to call the meeting to order. I'm going to call the roll. Starting with District 1, Ms. Bowles.
Present.
District 2, Mr. Christmas. District 3, Ms. Goree. That would be me. District 4, Ms. Williams.
Present.
District 5, Dr. D. Haney.
Present.
District 6, Ms. Mary Baker. Present. District 7, Ms. Sabrina Hill. Present. District 8, Ms. Joy Tellis Cooper.
Present.
District 9, Mr. Benjamin Straker.
Present.
Superintendent, Dr. Morcis Beasley.
Present.
Attorney, Clem Doyle.
Present.
Board Coordinator, Dr. Shantara Rump Carter. Our Administrative Assistant to the Superintendent and Board, Ms. Don Blau. Thank you all so much. Ms. Hill, I see your light flashing. All right, no problem. All right, at this meeting, before we start, this is actually supposed to be a hearing, but I actually came with a heavy heart this afternoon after listening to the news and hearing that we had a shooting downtown and that someone lost their life. So before we start with our hearing, I would like for us to take a moment of silence, please, to reflect upon what has happened in downtown Atlanta. Let's take a moment, please, to have a moment of reflection and prayer or whatever for those families that have been affected today. Thank you. All right, thank you so much. At this time on our agenda, we're going to have our millage rate presentation that will be done by our Chief Financial Officer, Ms. Emma Benton. And then after that, we will have public input.
Good afternoon, Ms. Goree, Mr. Vice Chair, Dr. Beasley, and members of the Board of Education, community, and colleagues. This evening, we have before us our third millage hearing, and our FY 2023 budget is built on 20 mills. The board has tentatively adopted a 20 mills rate for this school year. However, the adoption of the 20 mills, while we've been at 20 mills for the last 4 years, it represents a 1.9% tax increase. We've been talking about over the last probably 4 to 5 years the importance of making sure that our district is strong from a fiscal standpoint. And so we've been doing some really good work in that area. So for our community homeowners here in Clayton County, the 1.9% represents for a home that's valued at about $100,000. It represents about an $11.28 annually. That's a home that has homestead exemption. Without homestead exemption for $100,000, it represents about $15.04 annually. Included in the board pack is a number of price points from about $100,000, and I think we go up to about $500,000, and you can see the increase, and it's pretty minimal, but still an increase is an increase. So I just want to talk about just very briefly so that we can all, kind of understand what's going around us as Clayton County as a county. We know that many of the other counties have similar mill rates. And so this is just an example of what the mill rate is in the metropolitan area. But more than that, I really want to just spend some time here. And we've looked at this as a Board of Education and as a school district, and we tend to look at it a little bit more during the budget season. Here is a revenue per FTE, and I want to highlight this, particularly the local revenue. If you look at Atlanta, Clayton, Cobb, DeKalb, Fulton, and Gwinnett, look at the amount of revenue that they collect. And from this perspective, we're just going to focus in on the local revenue. And the reason why we're focusing in on the local revenue is because that's what we're talking about, the millage rate at 20 mills. So Clayton, for the 21 school year, we collected about 178.6 million. And look at our counterparts. 701 million, Atlanta. Cobb, 627 million. DeKalb, 677 million. Fulton, 714 million. And Gwinnett, 810 million. All of our school districts are experiencing some of the same things. You know, we still have to hire teachers. We still have to hire bus drivers. We still need books and materials to educate our students. And so hence the 20 mills recommendation. This is just FTE, less about the money, but more how we spend the money. And so at this time, I'll turn it over to Ms. Goree, but the recommendation is for 20 mills.
All right, at this time, we're going to take public comment, and I'm gonna read the rules for public comment. The Clayton County Board of Education welcomes public participation. We'll hear any interested individual pursuant to the guidelines outlined by policy BCBI. Members of the public will not be allowed to discuss individual personnel issues or confidential student matters. Actually, this is not one of those anyway. This is strictly on the millage rate. Speakers must identify themselves and topics before speaking. Speakers will be given 3 minutes to speak, and time may not be yielded from one speaker to another. Board members will not respond to comments from speakers. The chairperson may respond as appropriate. Issues requiring possible action by the board may be added to a future agenda. Issues that may need to be addressed by the administration will be duly noted. Abusive language and our personal attacks will not be permitted. Individuals addressing the board must at all times adhere to the civility policy. We will have Mr. White and I believe Dr. Rump Carter to keep time for us. All right, you can come to the mic. The first person that I have on the list to speak is Drew Andrews.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, Board Members, Superintendent. I am Drew Andrews. I reside in Jonesboro, and I'm also, as many of you know, I'm the Vice Chair of the Development Authority of Clayton County. And I'm here today because I was inspired by one of our community members last week who came here. I believe her name is Maggie, and if she's listening.
Excuse me, can I get you to stop, please? Just for a moment. I'm going to restart you. Are you going to show? Huh? Hold on a moment. Hold on just a minute, Mr. Andrews. Mr. White, are you also keeping time? Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Normally I see a timer. I didn't see it, so
I don't
just
see
wanted
one
to make
either.
sure.
Will I get a high sign? Let me know when I'm close or something.
You'll let him know at about 1 minute, Mr. White. Okay. Okay. All right.
Hopefully I won't need the full 3. But like I was
All right.
saying.
So Start again. Okay.
I'm Drew Andrews. I reside here in Jonesboro, unincorporated. I am a member of I'm the vice chair of the Development Authority of Clayton County. And I'm here today because, as I stated a moment ago, I was inspired by one of our community members who came here last week. I believe her name was Maggie. She had a young child with her on her hip. And I think she just asked two relevant questions. One, was there any other recommendations that the board thought of prior to coming to this conclusion of retaining the 20 mills? Also, was there any cost savers ideas that you thought of as well prior to coming to this decision to keep the millage rate at the same? And so, because I think it's important that the community know that we are listening to them, the Development Authority. I don't know if you know that, but I've counted, there's a little over 22 boards in the Clayton County. And the Development Authority, either we're attending them or we're watching them, but we definitely want the public to know we are listening to them. And it's just as important that they know that boards reach out to one another and working together. And I'm proud to say that I have a colleague on your board, Mr. Mark Christmas, who sits on our board. So we are communicating. What I would like to do is invite the board to get to know our board, and we come up with some solutions in how we can help elevate our community rather than, and let me back up. I want to make clear that I want the distinction between the Development Authority and the Office of Economic Development. The Development Authority, we are governed by the state. The General Assembly sent us, and we're governed by the Georgia Code 3662-2. Our mission statement is to develop trade, industry, commerce, and provide employment opportunities. And that's why you and we have the flexibility to work together, provide bonds, use bonds instead of your cash. That way you won't have to, you have the flexibility to roll back your millage rate, and the Development Authority can help. I wish I had more time so I could be more clear, but my point is, you have the ability, the flexibility to roll back your millage rate and work with the Development Authority and get things done. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Andrews. Our next speaker, Ms. Funny, Tanya Jean Funny. I'm not sure if I got your first name. Did I get it right this time, Ms. Funny? Okay, I'm doing better.
Hello to the board and to the community. Tanya Jean Funny, unincorporated Clayton County. So first, I want to clear up something for our citizens. They may have gotten a little confused at the last millage hearing. I went back to 2017 for the millage for the school system and the county. At the time, the school system was 19.095. The county was at 16.5. For 2018, 19, 20, 21, and 22, that's 5 years, the school system has been at max 20 mills. The county was at 15.5 for 3 years. And then 21, the county rolled back to 14.7, and 2022, 14.7. And then for the 2023, the Clayton County has rolled back to 14.4. So the county has been rolling back the millage, whereas the school system has remained at 20 mills for quite some time. So based on CCPS email that was sent, you could roll back 1.92 to a millage rate of 1808 and still collect the same revenue. Unfortunately, you haven't been spending all of the salary money for teachers because there is a teacher shortage. So I would say in this time of distress, it doesn't matter how much it is, give it back to the residents of Clayton County. So I would ask respectfully that you consider at least lowering the rate, even if it's just 1 point. Give some of this back, because we know in 2017, it was maxed out at 20 because of that $40 million deficit that we had. We'll talk about that at another time. But at that point, when we look at it now, everything is looking better. And I would just like to ask you all to give the residents of Clayton County whatever financial relief you can, because you can do it at this time. And like I said, it doesn't matter how small it is. Give it back to your residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Funny. The next speaker, I see the name of Nicole.
Hello. My name is Tiffany Nicole. I'm sorry. I've never done this before, but kind of
Miss-
nervous.
Hold on just a moment. Can you just tell me your last name, because we do keep a record.
Lomax.
Lomax?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. You can start, Miss Lomax.
Okay. I'm opposing the millage rate increase. I'm not really quite sure how the school millage rate is set. I have attended the other hearings as well as the county commissioner hearings, trying to get an understanding. I don't understand. I'm looking at my property tax bill that there's 20 mills on here, but I see the fire is like 4.75 and the other ones is 14 something. And I'm understanding that lost credit, you get to that, but it doesn't apply to the school. And I know I'm not over 65. I don't get no extra exemption. I've been a Clayton County resident for 17 years. Got 20 more years before I can reach 65 to get an exemption. But I cannot afford to have my property bill increasing. It seems like it's steady increasing, and I would like it to go down. It's seeming that if we were to roll back is proposing a little bit of relief or a little bit of the millage rate to go down, but the school is not. I'm not understanding that. I don't really quite understand how it works, but I'm just think that some other way the county should be able to do everything they need to do in regards to, I don't know what other funds, not on the federal level or with the airport as well. It seems like to me, well, we in Clayton County where we have the world largest airport in our backyard, even regards to with the Delta issue or the fuel tax credit, that we need to be getting our proper fair share from that airport. And maybe that will help this as well. So even if the school board, the tax commissioner, the county commissioners, whoever, but it seems like we need to lawyer up and fight up. We have to be able to get our fair share from where we're due. And that may help us as well. I mean, we have 2 Democratic senators for Georgia now. Hopefully it will stay that way. Hopefully something could be done. I know they have maybe done that prior, but now we have 2 new people there. We got some legislation, maybe something could change, but I think something needs to be done. And I think we're basically getting robbed. We're not getting our fair share of that airport, and that can maybe help our school system as well. So that's all the comments I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lomax. I would like to say I will make a comment on it. I wish we could get that money from the airport, but that's a whole nother story. Thank you so much. This is, I believe, Terry Baskin, but I see two of you all. So are you coming to speak individually?
Yes.
Okay, well,
Collectively. Good evening, Madam Chair,
okay.
Mr. Vice Chair, Dr. Beasley, Board of Education. So good to see you this evening. I was going to decline at first, but my name was mentioned, and I'm always known as the Darth Vader of the county when it comes down to taxes.
Right.
But to help you all understand that I hear the millage rate, millage rate, millage rate. And basically I'm here to ensure that this process continue on. And I want to make sure that we all are under a true understanding of what is actually happening. It's not the millage rate that's impacting the escalation of taxes, it's the market.
Right.
And we're talking about a national issue, not just a Clayton County issue, okay? So when you look at this all together, the market itself is driving the values, which affects all of our taxes. And you can rest assured that Clayton County nationwide, I mean, the county's mill rate is actually went down. So when we look at this, and when you do look at your bill in September, you'll notice that the millage rate for the county has stayed the same. And that's been for quite some time. And I think you can speak on that behalf from there, from the digest aspect. So I want to turn this over to Ms. Smith, my Chief Deputy Tax Commissioner.
Thank you. So I'm Danielle Smith, the Chief Deputy Tax Commissioner, and like Mr. Commissioner said, our millage rate actually decreased. We received some calls today. That's what led us to come. Again, Mr. Baskin was going to decline to speak, but we did hear the tax commissioner mentioned. We don't raise taxes, we collect them. And so the assessor's value, but I have to, in his defense, and he tried to be here with us tonight as well, but he sent me with a little tidbit of information. He actually, our tax assessors this year, and even in the last, say, few years, have assessed at a good median range, not on the high end of the totem pole. It's actually turned out to be a benefit to our residents. So they've stayed at a pretty level assessment rate, not above board. Overall, though, again, the county's millage rate has gone down. The market is driving the values. The values are driving the increase, and it's not just Clayton County. Everybody is experiencing, all I can say to our credit is anyone who has an issue paying their bill, we're here to support you. We're here to help, assist, make some kind of arrangement if we can. We understand it's difficult, okay? And we're here if you have further questions.
Yes, and so I'm going to ask you to come back just one more time, please, to just make that statement again about the millage. Can you repeat that last statement that you made so everybody understands?
Yeah. So again, the county's millage rate actually went down.
Mm-hmm.
The millage rate is not what's driving the increase on the bill. It's the values that are skyrocketing everywhere because you have people that are willing to pay double. I mean, it's crazy that investors or even some individuals are paying far above the market value for a property. That in turn drives the value. That in turn is going to affect your tax bill. And it's not just us, it's nationwide. And so again, it's not the mill rate so much that's driving the tax bills up, it's the values. And the assessor is doing their part. If you guys have any questions, I'm sure Mr. Emmett George, our tax assessor, he'll explain the process. But we're here. If you need assistance, people that need assistance, my phone is always on. Mr. Baskins stays on. So we're available if you need assistance.
Thank you. That is what we're trying to make everybody understand as well, Mr. Baskin. We feel the title you've gotten, and we feel that the same here. I believe that the name that I see is Rashawn Ali. Is that correct?
Good evening, board. I just want to share, I've been a resident here for 20. Okay. My name is Rashawn Ali. I've been a resident here in Clayton County for 23 years. I'm addressing the concerns that, just as the lady just addressed, even though the values have gone up, and I noticed that your millage rate have not really gone down, and all economic indicators are pointing to that by the end of the year, everything I'm reading, I spent almost 20 years in insurance business for a large insurance company. All economic indicators are showing that the values that we had that has been inflated will soon reverse. And are there any considerations for that? And since y'all have left your millage rate as it has been, from what I've heard in the presentation, for 4 years, and as the county has rolled back their millage rate, where have y'all rolled back y'all's within the period of the depressed economy that we had just a couple of years ago? Because we have not gotten that rollback. And I think in consideration for all the citizens, again, I've been here 23 years, I have no expectations of moving. We're not going to talk about the airport because that is a different situation. But just in regards to those values that are inflated values, and that when they start reversing, where's the consideration for us as citizens that there will be some adjustment in the millage rate? Because again, the values did go tremendously down. The tax assessors did adjust those millage rates then, but y'all never have addressed the choice. That's all I have to say. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. I think that is it, Mr. Ali. When you wrote your name, did you start writing it before and then you did it on another line? Was that you? Okay, I'm trying to make sure. Okay, thank you so much. All right, though that we have heard from all the people that signed up to speak this evening. At this time, we do need to approve the fiscal year 2023 millage rate. So I do need a motion for approval of the recommended millage rate, which is to stay at 20 mills. Ms. Baker.
So moved.
All right, it's been moved by Ms. Baker. Mr. Straker.
I second the motion.
All right, it's been moved and properly seconded by Mr. Straker that we keep the millage rate at the recommended rate at 20 mills. At this time, I need you to vote, please. Okay, I have 7 in favor. Ms. Hill, is that a abstention? I have 1 abstention and 1 in opposition. You see Ms. Bittner? Okay. All right, thank you. At this time, this concludes the millage rate hearing and vote. We do actually have at this part of our agenda is actually going to be a called board meeting, and we do need to go into executive session. And I need a motion to go into executive session for personnel matters and litigation. Mr. Christmas?
So move, Madam Chair.
All right, Mr. Straker.
Second the motion.
All right, it's been moved and properly seconded that we go into executive session for personnel matters and litigation. Please vote. All right, it's a unanimous vote. We're going into executive session. Thank you. All right, we're back from executive session where we discuss personnel matters and litigation. At this time, I'm gonna turn it over to Dr. Beasley for personnel matters.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, members of the board, community. We have 4 recommendations today. We'll start out with the first recommendation for the principalship at Babb Middle School. We'd like to recommend Dr. Deborah Green.
I need a motion for the superintendent's recommendation of Dr. Deborah Green as the principal of Babb Middle School. Ms. Hill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to accept the recommendation for Dr. Deborah Green to be the principal at Babb Middle School.
All right, and I need a second, Ms. Williams.
I second it.
It's been moved and properly second that we accept the superintendent's recommendation. Let me have your vote, please. All right, and it is a unanimous vote. Is Dr. Green
Dr.
here?
Green, congratulations.
All right, Dr. Green. All right, Dr. Beasley.
Our next recommendation is for the assistant principalship at Jonesboro High School. We'd like to recommend Jared Proctor.
All right, I need a motion for the superintendent's recommendation of Mr. Jared Proctor as the assistant principal at Jonesboro High School. Ms. Baker.
I'd like for us to accept the recommendation of Jarrett Proctor for the assistant, I'm going to change his job here, assistant principal at Jonesboro High School.
All right, I need a second. Dr. Haney.
Madam Chair, I second that.
All right, Mr. Proctor, you almost got a real good promotion to assistant superintendent. Let us vote, please. All right, it is unanimous vote. Is Mr. Proctor here?
Proctor. Congratulations.
All right.
Our next recommendation is for the assistant principalship at the virtual learning program. We'd like to recommend Pamela Van.
All right, I need a motion for the superintendent's recommendation of Ms. Pamela Van as the assistant principal at the virtual learning program. Ms. Bowles.
Motion to accept the superintendent's recommendation for Ms. Pamela Van to become the assistant principal at the virtual learning program.
All right. Ms. Baker.
I second it.
All right, it's been moved and properly second that we accept the superintendent's recommendation. Please vote. All right, we have a unanimous vote. It's Ms. Van.
Ms. Van. Now, last recommendation is for the assistant principalship at North Clayton Middle School. We'd like to recommend Myron Broom.
Well, I need a motion from the board, and I'm just gonna go ahead and take that since North Clayton. I'm gonna move that we accept the superintendent's recommendation of Mr. Myron Broom as the assistant principal at North Clayton Middle School. I need a second. Ms. Williams.
I second it.
All right, it's been moved and properly second that we accept the superintendent's recommendation. Let us vote, please. All right, a unanimous vote. Is Mr. Broom here?
Mr. Broom, congratulations.
I met you in this. You didn't tell me that's why you were here today. All right. Okay. We also discussed litigation, and we need a motion for the litigation. Ms. Hill.
I motion to approve legal representation in litigation against Jewel and its affiliates.
All right. I need a second. Ms. Cooper.
Second it.
All right. It's been moved and properly second that we accept that recommendation. Please vote. All right. It's a unanimous vote. Thank you. I believe that we have covered everything on the agenda this evening. Thank you so much. We are in adjournment.